Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kneale Can Talk, a show where I talk about stuff I like and dislike on the internet, because no one has ever done that before, ever. I'm the first, and if you do it, that is cheating, and you have stolen from me, and I won't do it today, but eventually I will have vengeance upon you. So, you know, my unofficial first episode of the series was actually talking about Marvel fatigue. I was trying to say Feige for some reason. Marvel fatigue. Um, and focusing a lot on WandaVision. And since then, we have done little bi-week reaction reviews to WandaVision. However, Callum also posted a review of WandaVision, which I thought was really cool because I was planning on doing the same thing. I thought it would be cool to talk about the series strictly from what it meant to me and how I dealt with it. And I've also decided I'm going to do the same thing for every Marvel series. I'm going to do it for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm going to do it for Loki. I'm going to do it for What If. I'm going to do it for all of them. I may even go back and do a review for all of the movies if you guys are into that. But for now, we got WandaVision to talk about, and boy, what a good start to these TV shows. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen WandaVision, get out now! Or hasn't seen it, he's getting out. But let's be honest, by now, most of the world has seen WandaVision, and that's for good reason. It's an amazing show. It starts off in the sitcom world, and then you slowly figure out what's going on, and the build-up is magnificent. I really loved getting in streams and stuff and just talking to people about what we thought was going on. It was just such a good topic, just looking at all the little details, to the point where some people may have gotten their expectations a little too high and demanded just a little too much from the show. Like, obviously, Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four wasn't going to show up, but the idea that that was a possibility was still fun to talk about and play the guessing game. That was one of my favorite parts of just the weekly release. Like, at first I was like, come on, Marvel, please just drop the whole thing at once, because admittedly, you want these answers, you want them so quick, but if they would have done that, they would have came, they would have gone, and we wouldn't be talking about WandaVision right now. That's something to think about. The fact that they did this weekly thing made it better, in my opinion, because we all got to talk about it and experience it sort of has a big group of just nerds. But the show's merits on its own. The acting is magnificent. My favorite actor in the whole thing being Paul Bettany. The guy trolled us hardcore talking about that cameo, but the man can act, and he is nailing the character of Vision. Vision in the comics has always kind of been the voice of reason and the smart guy who knows what's going on. And he nails this here, but also brings this compelling side of, well, I don't know what's going on, and I'm super confused by everything around me, but I'm still the good man I always was. He has some of my favorite lines in this show, and god damn, some of those lines are going to stick with me for a really long time. Because what is grief if not love persevering? Holy shit, can't wait to talk about episode 8. But he's not alone. Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda nails this too. She's playing somebody who's got a fractured mind right now, isn't sure what's going on or if they are to blame for all of these people hurting. And it is wonderful to see every little emotion that goes on in her face. It's so rewarding to have these two characters who just really didn't get a ton of screen time in the movies get their own project where they can only shine. And it's wonderful to see. I really hope this happens with all of the shows. Like, I hope Falcon and Winter Soldier, we see this great elaboration on what's going on with those characters. Loki specifically, like, everybody already loved Loki, so I wonder what they're going to add to that character. And, dude, I don't even have to say it. If they base the Hawkeye show off of the My Life as a Weapon comics, holy shit, that thing's going to be so big, and I can't wait to share my love for that with you guys. But let's stay focused on WandaVision and talk about some of the new stuff that is added by this show. Wanda has babies! Tommy and Billy, Wiccan and Speed, are both in this show, and they're little kids in this, not the adults we grew up with in the comic books. But, well, they weren't adults, they were like teenagers. You know what I mean! But it was still cool to see them, and I love that they have their powers and they're figuring each other out. It's really cool, and I hope for a future with them. However, I do have one little critique. It was weird. So towards, I believe, episode, I want to say 5, Agatha seems to be trying to get the children to age on purpose. Why was she doing that? That seems like now that didn't matter at all. Like, in the grand scheme, the children had very little to do with what was going on with Agatha. And I actually question why they were able to age at all if they were like separate entities. Like, if they were just creations by Wanda, why was it she couldn't control them, and why was it she couldn't age them back? I don't get that. But that's one little plot hole. And honestly, the show, like, is so good that you ignore little stuff like that. Catherine Hahn as I believe her name is Catherine Hahn. I might have got that wrong, but I believe she plays Agatha Harkness and Agnes. I think she's better in the role of Agatha Harkness than she is as Agnes. Like, with the nosy neighbor, like, we knew something was up with her from the start of the show, and you're really not supposed to. There's even a whole song revealing, like, who's been messing up everything? It was Agatha all along. Yeah, I think that was supposed to be a bigger twist, and while it was twisty, it wasn't a big twist to know that something was going on with Agatha. We knew that from episode 1. Why am I nitpicking the show now? I love this fucking show. Monica Rambeau, Jimmy Woo, freaking Darcy. These are 3 characters that this show did so much with when they really didn't have to. Monica's story is the most highlighted, but I love Jimmy. I just love seeing him, like, use the little bit of magic, like, not like magical magic, but like stage magic that he learned in Ant-Man and the Wasp to actually help him. He takes off handcuffs. He reveals a card that was hidden. I am loving Jimmy Woo, and I hope that Randall Park shows up in many more Marvel projects. At least Quantumania, please. And, dude, Darcy? People were calling her the Marvel Jar Jar Binks. And now she is 100% a great home-running character in this. I'm really surprised that just putting her in a different tone of show was so good for that character and made it so much better. Because in Thor, we were all getting annoyed with her. We all hated her there. But here in WandaVision, she's a perfect fit. Kat Dennings nails this personality. She needed some more screen time towards the end, in my opinion, but that's really my only critique of her. And that's not even Kat Dennings' fault. She did great. She nailed this. So let's talk about some of the other stuff. There were a lot of theories going around. A lot of them didn't happen, but we did get White Vision, which means technically Vision is back. And I love that scene where Vision is talking about the ship and how if you replace every part of the ship, is it still the same ship? And then freaking White Vision is like, no, either neither is or both are. And that was so interesting to me. I loved seeing this like logic battle, this battle of wits with Vision. If there was one character that was going to be fitting for, it was him. And it harkens back to the Ultron scene where they're just standing there talking about like, what does it mean to be who you are? And it's wonderful. God, once again, Vision is the best part of the show for me. I really adored him. I guess overall I'm just very happy that Vision is back in the MCU, because Vision has always been my second favorite of the MCU heroes. And to see that he's coming back, and oh gosh, so I kind of had a personal stake to what he was saying towards the end. One of my all-time heroes is J.M. Barrie, the creator of the original Peter Pan. And one of his big life mottos was, of course, to die would be an awfully great adventure. And Vision says something very similar to that in episode 9, where he said, I started out as a voice without a body back when he was Jarvis. I then was a body but not human, Vision, and now I am living memory. And he looks to Wanda and says, oh, I wonder what I will become next. And I loved that. How essentially this portion of Vision is now ending, and he couldn't be any more excited. I adored that so much. This character, man, I want to see him in more stuff. Please, please, forgive Paul Bettany for his dumb joke, and please put him in more stuff, please. Anyways, for a proper review, we should start at the beginning and talk about some of the sitcom stuff. At the time, I wanted the sitcom stuff to be the whole show. Like, I was hoping they would have just stuck with the sitcom stuff forever. However, I do think they fell off the bandwagon a little bit here. I thought episode 1 and 2 were really good as sitcom episodes. And then sort of after episode 3, which still kind of focused on sitcom-y stuff, this sitcom stuff just became, like, to me, a gimmick. Like, something that's going to happen and it's going to be there, but it's not the focus anymore. The focus is the story. And usually that's a good thing. But here, to me, it wasn't. I thought at the beginning they really nailed the sitcom stuff, and now they kind of pushed that away. That being said, though, I still love these episodes as they were happening. The Evan Peters thing, though, is a problem for me. I think that if Evan Peters truly is out of the MCU now and it was just a funny joke, I think that's such wasted potential, and that is going to piss me off a bit. I mean, I'm not mad, but it was right there, and you wasted that opportunity. You didn't even have to cast Evan Peters, but you did, and now I just want to see him in the role again. He's so good as Quicksilver, and it was cool to see him in the MCU. It was cool to see Fox Quicksilver talking to Wanda Maximoff, to look at Vision. It was cool, and Evan Peters nailed it. I hope they can just retcon things and be like, oh no, people actually really liked Evan Peters. No, he is. He is in the MCU. I would forgive said retcon. I really would. But yeah, best sitcom stuff was from the first 2 episodes, maybe arguably the third, even though that was probably my least favorite episode of the bunch. But, you know, still played with the sitcom trope quite a bit. And after episode 4, where we get Jimmy Woo and Darcy and stuff, the sitcom stuff sort of takes a backseat. But that's okay, because we still have these amazing characters in this amazing story. It's all building up. How is Wanda going to explain what's going on to her kids and Vision? Vision's attempt to actually exit Westview and find answers on his own. This new thing with Pietro popping up. What's going on with Quicksilver? All of these mysteries, not all of them have a 100% perfect answer, but most of them do. We do learn what's going on with Vision. We do know how Wanda made the kids. And more than anything, after Agatha is revealed, we find out why they're trapped in a sitcom, and this is one of the best things Marvel's ever done, period. Episode 8 of WandaVision is a flashback episode where Wanda kind of goes through her history. We see her as a child, talking to her parents and watching sitcoms, and we see the missile, the Tony Stark missile, hit her living room and kill her parents. We see her and Pietro wait there and watch. And it's heartbreaking. And the thing that broke me is after they were watching an episode of the Dick Van Dyke show, that was all a dream. Wanda says, at the end of the episode, it's revealed that it's all a dream. Maybe this is a dream too. And she pushes out her hand and she stops the bomb. That scene broke me. And then the rest of the episode just keeps hurting you. We see her in the Hydra base getting her upgrade from the Mind Stone. We see the first time her and Vision ever really connected right after Pietro's death. It's kind of an origin story for Wanda's behavior going forward. And it's probably the point where I realized this show isn't about somebody who is hurt healing. It's about somebody who is hurting more. It's justifying to us, the viewers, why Wanda is probably going to be a villainous force in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Not necessarily a villain plain out, but at least some sort of an antagonist or adversary that is trying to achieve their own goals separate from what may or may not be considered good. There's a scene where this jerk Hayward, who I've barely talked about at all because he's just an asshole for the sake of being an asshole, he tries to goat Wanda into trying to bring back Vision's corpse. And she doesn't. She's still a good person, but then she loses control of her powers and creates this sitcom reality. Honestly, I relate to all of this, and I feel like we all can. We've all lost loved ones, and I really like that when we were doing these weekly reviews, it enabled some of my friends to talk about their own losses and really relate to Wanda in this circumstance, because I feel like if any of us had the opportunity to bring back somebody we loved, we'd do it. We'd do exactly what Wanda did, and I don't think we'd think twice about it. But Wanda did it all by accident. She didn't even necessarily want to do it. Granted, once she had her family and stuff, she had to protect them, so at that point she was doing it on purpose. But you can justify that too. Wanda, honestly, is kind of set up here to be the next Killmonger, where she's going to go out and do some stuff that is a little extreme and we probably don't agree with. But we know why she's doing it. Because frankly, she just wants her kids back. And that's heartbreaking. This show is full of so many good moments, so many great, impactful moments that give you faith in not just the MCU, but just the writing of these things. I love when Vision is talking to Wanda, and I mentioned it earlier, but he's talking about how hurting is good, hurting is normal, and grieving is just love despite everything else. It's truly an amazing line and perfect for Vision. I need to know the writers, and I would love to sit down and have a drink with Kevin Feige, because Jesus, I want to talk to him about these characters, because it feels like he understands them sometimes even better than I do. And I absolutely love that about him. He's really doing some great work here telling these stories. God, my head's going to explode if I keep thinking about it. Vision specifically has so many good lines, but Wanda Steele's one of the best. Now, I still think one of probably my favorite moment is just Vision being excited for what comes next after this death. After this form of Vision is gone, what's going to be the next one? I think that's the thing that most struck a chord with me. The whole to die will be a great adventure. It's so me. But another amazing line is when they're talking and Vision says, "We've said goodbye so many times. that it's not unreasonable to believe. And then Wanda cuts him off and says that we will say hello again. And that's a great line too. I think that's going to end up being the new "I Love You" 3000. That's such a good line. This show has very little action. There is like basically no action until the very last episode, and you do not care. In fact, you want them to go back to the mystery and the drama, and geez, Marvel pulled it off swimmingly. This is a great start to Phase 4. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Obviously, I've talked a lot about what specifically relates to me, but it's my review, so I have to. And I do really wonder where this is going to go. The after-credit scenes have hinted that Monica is going to end up in space. Is that setting up Captain Marvel 2 for her? What's going on with frickin' Wanda? Was she astral projecting? They played the Doctor Strange theme at the end, so something's going on there. I guess I should just finish up by covering some of the best things about the show and how they hit me, because this is my review. I need to talk about me a little bit. One of the things I've weirdly become very excited for is Captain Marvel 2. I despise Captain Marvel. I think it's a terrible movie. But freaking Monica Rambeau is a great character, great build-up, great writing on her. If they can keep that and carry that into Captain Marvel 2 along with Miss Marvel like they're planning to, that could be a really good movie and have what I think the first one was missing, really good, lovable characters. I love Monica in this. I understand everything she's going through. And that scene where she comes back from the snap, holy shit, that hit me. I also love Jimmy and Darcy. I know I've said that already, but they're just great comic relief. And I love that Jimmy got the chance to get a couple licks in. He got to fight a little bit. And I loved it. It showed that this character is more than just a joke. And honestly, I'd love to see him get his own show, which I know is a weird idea, but I would. I'd love to see him, Luis from Ant-Man, Darcy, and J. Jonah Jameson all go on a road trip. I would love it. And it doesn't even have to be a supervillain. It could just be a road trip. Wanda's costume at the end is very comic reminiscent. I ended up liking it better when she put up her hood. Everyone is praising this costume, but I really liked it when that hood came up. I mean, geez, it looked awesome. And, geez, what can I say now? There's just a million good things about WandaVision. There is some bad, and there is some stuff that doesn't fully deliver. A lot of people believe that the finale wasn't all that great, but I truly believe when setting her up to like be this force that may be good, may be bad, almost setting her up as an anti-hero, it needed to end this way for us to see that she is going down that path. And honestly, we kind of need to be afraid of Wanda. Like, that's true. We need to fear her and what she could do. That's why they had that scene where she chokes everybody out. The poor town people, by the way, they're played by great actors as well. Overall, my thoughts on WandaVision are, I got an incredible story with two characters I really love. In order, honestly, now I think my favorite Avengers are probably Hawkeye, Vision, who was already at number 2, and then Scarlet Witch might be number 3. I adore Elizabeth Olsen in this. I adore Wanda Maximoff. And episode 8 showed me layers I never expected to see from this character, but they were always there. It was great and wonderful. So, yeah, I know I've been nitpicking a little bit here and there, but I love this series. I gave episode 8 a freaking 10 out of 10. I think if I were to rate the entire series, I think I'd give it probably an 8 out of 10. It's not maybe an 8.5 even. Yeah, 8.5. Because it's not perfect. and it has some improvements, but it did affect me. And episode 8 is probably going to stick with me for a very long time. I love this show, and it's honestly automatically one of the best things Marvel has already made. I love it, and I've never been more excited for Marvel TV. I love that they can take these moments, they can go slow with it, and they can really establish things that you can't do in a movie. And going forward, I think that's going to be great for these things. So let me know in the comments if you guys agree and disagree. Tell me what you're expecting from Falcon and Winter Soldier. We have a cast to cover that on Disney Plus Mouse. Oh, and also, if any of you are interested, I have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Dr. Neiltopus. I just reached affiliate, so if any of you guys want to jump over there, that is where I will be exclusively doing my streams from now on. But don't worry, the VODs will be uploaded on YouTube at a later date, so you can get them live and interact with me here on Twitch, but if not, you'll still get to see it. So, thank you all for watching. Whew. Don't worry, guys. We will say hello again. Have a good one.